Anyway, so
right.
we're going to talk about assessments today.
Start today. Over. Who are you?
Huh?
What's your full name? Tell our audience who you are.
Oh, I'm Sid. That's all you get.
And you're owner of
360 Home Inspections.
Fabulous. And there's a great website, right?
There is a great website,
go to
yes.
read more about you and
I just
order
updated
a home
it.
inspection. Did you know that people can still order a home inspection even if they already own their home?
Yes, they should do that.
And anyone who bought in 2021 and 2022, if they didn't get one, should do that now?
100%. I think people should get at least every 2 years get their home inspected.
2's a lot.
Yeah.
Might not be a bad idea. I would say
Depends on the
definitely
age of the home.
5 to 10. If you've lived in a house that long, there are things happening that you don't know about.
Yeah, for sure. At least 5.
Yeah. All right.
And that way I can
So we compromised on 5. Every 5 years, best practices. Every 5 years, have a home inspector come out, redo your home inspection, and then you've got your project list for the next 2 years.
Yeah. And then we don't have to rely as much on realtors. So that would be amazing.
Also great. Yeah. Repeat business.
That's right.
And this is something, so if realtors are listening to this podcast, and that's something that realtors could be reaching out to their clients about, because they're always like, I don't know, what am I supposed to lead gen? I don't know. Like, no one wants to hear from me. What do I call them about? Well, you can call, text, or email to give your folks a reminder if they bought however many years ago that it may be a great idea to redo their home inspection. And by the way, they have a great company, 360.
Yeah.
And maybe if they order so many home inspections from you, you'll give them a $1 discount.
That's right. Absolutely.
Give them a big old kiss.
Todd will give him a hug.
Yeah. Which is one more reason to reach out, show your people that you care.
That's a great idea. I've never thought about that one. But yeah, that's been the missing piece for home inspectors for a long time, trying to figure out how to generate revenue or inspections outside of real estate transactions.
Can help fill the winter months.
Could, yeah.
And then maybe you do a winter discount when someone's more flexible with their time.
Yeah. I've thought about doing, contracts, kind of like a seasonal, annual, whatever. We look at certain things, just come by and do it. But because that's the hardest part about selling a home inspection business, right? You sell a pest control business, you have all the contracts.
Yeah.
So you sell the contracts.
Right.
We don't have contracts. So and it's very much relationship driven. So, people want a certain inspector.
Yeah.
So, if I sold the business and the inspector stayed, that's good.
Right.
But if but it's also why if you're a single home inspector company, it's your company. I hate to say it, but it's pretty worthless.
Right.
Because you're just selling. All those agents are going to. There's a way you can do it.
Yeah.
But you go and I buy your company, and I show up. They're just like, who are you?
Right.
Right. So, because single inspector companies, agents always have a backup, so they just go to the backup at that point. So,
I think you have a similar obstacle that we do as real estate agents too. I've seen real estate agents sell their business, and then that business is kaput within 2 years.
Yeah.
Right.
Yeah.
It's a different name. It's a different. Everything that they built doesn't necessarily transfer over to someone else's name and energy. And I think both issues can be solved in similar ways where you step down, but you don't step out completely.
Yes.
You can keep a working by referral business running indefinitely if you do a step down model versus a complete sellout, and dip out. Because you can replace yourself in so many of the jobs and still maintain all the relationships, like maintain 10 to 20% of the job and have the other 80 to 90 covered.
Right.
And then that allows you to but you're not in growth mode anymore. You're not in hustle mode anymore. Yeah. You're in, sustaining the relationships, and you get to do it the way that you like to do it best. we've created a model like that for real estate. And I've got 2 agents now on the team who are following that.
Oh, yeah. Who's
like
we?
Their one job is to, what'd you say?
It's a who's we.
Who's we?
Yeah.
No,
you said we created a model like that.
Oh, so the person, because we're going to talk about this from the business standpoint, I don't want to say their names because of how they talk to their sphere may be different than how we talk.
Sure.
You know, shop talk is different than how you market to your people. But there was another agent in our office who was stepping out of full-time sales for a couple different reasons. One is, you know, first she was exploring a job that was sort of connected to real estate. And then she was taking care of a parent, you know, an aging parent, and that became, you know, nearly full time. So there are a number of life progression things that were happening. But what we did is she joined my team, and so everything to the public shows her as a fully active real estate agent. But her job really now is just to be the rainmaker of her own little sphere.
Right.
And so when someone calls and says, hey, you know, I'm ready to start the process to sell a home, she says, awesome. I'm going to have my best listing agent give you a call. And then passes it over to me. And so my best listing agent, Catherine Ham's going to give you a call. Well, it makes it look like I'm working for her,
right?
Even though I absorbed her, you know, her business and whatever else. But it works out wonderfully. And so she's still just active enough doing the things that she loves to do, her hobbies, her activities, her church, all the circles that she's in, and she's maintaining those relationships, but she doesn't have to continue to do the everyday sales.
Right. No, that's a great way of doing it. We actually met with some people yesterday at lunch, business owners and whatnot, and I told them, because we were talking about numbers and what would it take. I said, unfortunately, my path is one of 2 things. One, it's got to be private equity, because home inspector's just not going to pay what I want to walk away, right? Because I'm not going to walk away from this and just go start another job. Like, you know, I mean, like when I sell this, like I'm done. You know, I want me money. And I want to be retired. And, so 100,000 isn't going to cut it.
So you are still looking for a way, like, how do you create a business that is that you can sell?
Right.
You're still trying to solve that problem.
Yes.
Got it.
Because like I said, the money outside of private equity, which is in the home inspection space because of data.
Okay.
Well, I mean, we have 8,000 clients in our database that we can't do anything with. Mm-hmm. Right. So when you talk about private equity and they have all these different businesses and stuff, they want to funnel client data too.
Yeah.
That's why they're buying up software companies and home inspection companies, because they want the data. So, which goes back to contracts. Like I have all this client data and I can't do anything with it. You know. So. Yeah. But like I said, the average home inspector isn't going to be like, oh yeah, I'll pay you know $3-4 million for that. You know, they're not going to do that.
No, they're not going to do that. The ROI is not there fast enough for them.
Right.
Either.
Right.
Yeah.
So then it comes down to, all right, and I'm going to use outside looking in, but you look at Burgess, right? Scooter's been doing this for a long time. Mm-hmm. He's still the name, still the face, but he has slowly turned it over to other people. Okay. Right? So that's kind of the same concept there, right? Mm-hmm. So that's probably the more realistic option as I get older, you know, get a couple more inspectors, promote one. They kind of start slowly taking over.
Yep.
Dealing with the day-to-day stuff, you know, and
you
then
still get the residuals.
Yeah.
Because you're the one who built it.
Yeah. I get to take naps.
You turn into Jeff.
From Pest Now. Yeah. Yeah. Just, I don't play golf though. So that's the problem. Yeah. Yeah.
You got to find a hobby.
I got a hobby. It's choking people.
Forgot about that.
legally. Okay, we all sign waivers. It's okay.
Okay.
Yeah.
Okay.
It's
not
just an
weird.
excuse to
Waivers.
hug each other.
It is. It is cuddling.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Boys
This
need an excuse to hug each other.
Like
Jiu-jitsu.
oh, okay,
Yeah.
okay.
Yeah.
That
Ground karate.
there you go.
Yeah.
That's choking
Just
people.
rolling around.
Yeah.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah. So that will be my full-time job. Just a hobbyist jiu-jitsu person.
All right, so I have another time frame that's really smart for people to call home inspectors.
Mm-hmm.
And this is something that you guys could be educating the homeowners about when you already have them in your database, but how do you get to the homeowners you didn't work with the first place? That's a whole nother solution or problem to find a solution for. But the realtors who we're talking to, another reason they could be communicating to their clients is anytime they're doing big ticket items, big renovations, or replacing a roof, really expensive, replacing an HVAC system, doing major plumbing or any kind of install. Number one, a lot of those things don't require county or city, code people. And then what we've also learned is a lot of those code people, they come in and they've got their one thing they nitpick, but they don't really look at. They're not inspectors. Yeah. They don't have time for that.
Right.
They don't have patience for that, and they also might not be trained for that.
Right.
So just because someone from the county or city came out and gave the blessing to whatever renovation is, it does not mean a whole lot. So before the drywall goes up, have the home inspector out. After the roof's been done, before you cut your final check, have the home inspector, lined up to take a look. Or even if you've already paid the bills, it's just nice. Find out now while everyone was working on your roof still works for the company. It's a lot easier to get them back out, to try to make those repairs. Yeah. People are devastated when they have a home inspection 5-10 years later and they find out a major piece was not done correctly. And now they have water trapped between their walls, which resulted into mold. And now they're talking $10,000, $15,000, $20,000 for what was a $12,000 roof has now turned into a 20-something. $1,000 problem. And
insane.
It might have been avoided, if they had someone come out, a third party, neutral third party come out to say, yes, everything was done correctly on the edges or not.
No, that's a great point. And it actually is a situation just ran into. Inspection and the roof was done 10 years ago and it's failing.
Yeah.
And when you go into the attic, it's because they screwed up the ventilation. Older home.
Yeah.
But when they replaced this roof, they cut in a ridge vent. And when they cut in the ridge vent, they didn't block out completely the gable vents. And if they're soffit vents, they shoved all the insulation to the soffits.
Oh, no.
So all the nails and everything on the other side are rusted from condensation, which you shouldn't have condensation in your attic.
Yikes.
And now it's causing premature failure of the shingles because of a lack of ventilation. That's a thing. So if you would have got that phone call sooner, because like I said, there's no checks and balances for roofs as far as county inspections and permits and things like that.
Yeah.
But also, I've been told by Chesterfield, building inspector in Chesterfield, that they spend on average for new construction 3 minutes on site.
Right.
Because there's so many of them.
So many.
We built our house in 2017. And that's my house too.
Yeah. Her mom lives with her.
Oh, okay.
Yeah. It's in the will for me. Only daughter. Right here. You're looking at her. Anyways, built the house in 2017 and then when was it? I think it was like 2 years after
about like that.
Me joining here, so probably like 2023.
Probably.
We found out that the guest bathroom was never done properly, and all of the water from the guest bathroom was draining into the crawl space.
Oh no.
Yeah.
Yikes.
Yeah. And word for word from my mom. Well, we had the code inspector out here.
So did we not get the home inspection done in 2017?
They did not know.
They did not.
That was they.
Yeah.
Not part of the problem.
Yeah. No,
Yeah. What
never
a
the
mess.
problem.
So new construction homes, I always tell my buyers 100% you have to get a home inspection. Some of the worst inspection reports I've seen are on new construction.
And you wouldn't
it's
like think
amazing
that.
how the consumer feels so much better because they think everything's new. There can't be a problem.
Mm-hmm.
I had clients who, well, they were my clients later, but they were not my clients when they bought the house. Brand new, didn't have a home inspection, went in to do their first load of laundry. The washer was up on the second floor. The water hookup was never hooked up.
Nope.
And so the entire washer of water came gushing down through their brand new first floor ceilings and their brand new wood floors. And that builder, luckily, happened immediately after. So that builder was responsible for everything. And so they had to come in. But you've already moved into your brand new home, and now you're having to live through construction.
Yeah. And that's why
Because they're ripping out the flooring, ripping out the walls. Like, what a mess.
One, I found out one. It was, fortunately, it was just a condensation line at that time. But I was running the air conditioner, and the condensation line terminated into the washing machine drain. And then when I got down to the first floor, there was a little drippy drip coming from that.
Oh, yeah.
And the HVAC guy came out while we were still there. And I told him what I thought. He's like, what makes you think that? And I told him, he's like, I agree. I'm going to go find a plumber. He says, not a me problem.
Yeah.
So, but I always tell them, like, hey, look, this is going to be covered under warranty. Like, you found something. I said, but wouldn't it be nice to not have to deal with it? You know, I mean, because it's still an inconvenience.
Yeah.
Yeah. It still sucks.
Yeah. Still sucks.
You still got to deal with that case. You got to deal with the fans and the drying and the ripping up of the floors and opening up the drywall and doing all the things you got to do to properly mitigate it.
I guess that was the proper terminology. So the hookups were hooked up, but it was the drain that part was missing because the water came in.
Yeah.
The water just didn't have anywhere to go when it went out.
Yeah. And I've gone in crawl spaces where the main water line coming in is just spraying everywhere. Nobody knows.
Geez.
Just flooding the crawl space.
Yeah.
You know?
Yeah, you cannot trust you can't trust the new construction because they have so many subs and people are going in and out, especially these days. They're just building things so fast.
And I always tell
people make mistakes.
They do. I say it's just another set of eyes is all it is. If you have a good project manager, they understand that. You know, I mean, I understand home inspectors have kind of ruined some relationships with builders
Right.
by being ridiculous. But for the most part, you come in there with some common sense and don't show yourself. You know, it's like third set of eyes.
The common sense is helpful too. I had clients who were building a home in Kinloch, so probably $1 million home. And at the time, it's considerably more now.
Right.
So it was roughly $1 million new construction home, and we got our home inspector in pre-drywall, and he looks at, they're very expensive, going to be nicely finished. I think it was the primary bathroom, and they had the piping going up in the exterior wall when there were multiple other interior walls where you could run the pipes. And he's like, why would you put the piping there? This is $1 million home. Like, if a pipe's going to freeze, it's going to be because it's there. There's all these other places you could run this pipe. And of course, like, you know, the builder, plumber, no one wants to hear this once they've already, you know, started the work. But you're buying $1 million home. Don't you want your pipes not in the exterior wall where they're 1 million times more likely to freeze? And so again, it's just another set of eyes. Just because someone says they're expert doesn't necessarily mean they're always doing it the best way every way. So get a home inspection.
Get a home inspection.
People.
Courtney, work on those new business ideas.
What?
Never mind.
You want her to be taking notes.
When you listen to this again, you'll figure it out.
Man.
All right. So another time outside of just the sale of a home. So I think I'm giving you 3 nuggets now.
You have.
This is the 3rd time. I think it can be really helpful to have a home inspector out. You know, when you do buy new construction and then you've got your 11th month or 12th month, your final, like last little, like
the warranty one,
blue tape walkthrough. Yeah. Your warranty's about to, this is the last time you get to bug them, right? Why not have a home inspector out again?
Yep.
Another set of eyes.
Yep. If we do your final, then the system automatically sends you a reminder at the 11th month to get the schedule on. We give discounts and all that stuff for that one. If you did the other ones.
Brilliant.
Yeah.
All right. So you already knew that nugget, but now hopefully if real estate agents are listening to this, they now know what to talk to their clients about.
That we still get agents that's like, oh yeah, I've never done a new construction home inspection. Huh.
What?
Yeah.
And they're still licensed.
Well, you know.
Man.
Yeah. Why would I do pre-drywall?
Yeah.
Like, I don't know.
If my client refuses to, because some of them have, they just want to spend their money on other things, and they got advice from their whatever cousin who bought one house in their life. If someone has refused to, I make sure that gets put in writing.
Or the builder told them they didn't need it. We got a phone call, I think yesterday, looking for a last-minute new construction home inspection because they were told they didn't need it by the builder. And then as they started walking around the house, they started questioning some things. And now all of a sudden it's like, oh God, we closed on Monday. We need a home inspection before Monday. And I'm like, oh no.
Yep. Were those consumers using a real estate agent?
I don't think so.
Okay.
Yeah.
I can see how that would happen to them.
Oh, 100%.
I've definitely have had
100%.
builders say that to my clients, and that's where sometimes I'll talk back right in front of the builder because they, depends how they've been handling the conversations up until that point.
Sure.
Other times I may pull my clients aside and be like, hey, and I prep them ahead of time.
Yeah.
The builder or any of their construction representatives are going to try to tell you this. They're going to try to reassure you that the county inspector is coming out and you don't need anything else. I am here to tell you that's bogus.
Yep.
And here's why. And so I walk them through everything and I explain it. So a lot of times I like to tell them ahead of time that they're going to say this, expect this to come up. Or when we hear it, if it's early in the process, if we hear it, then I'm pulling them aside to say, I know they just said this, but here's why I don't think we should rely on that.
100%.
But if they don't have an agent, then they don't have anyone talking them through those things.
They, because builders say, hey, don't need one. We got our own QA department. We get county inspections. And every time I do a Virginia housing class, I ask the question, who does the builder's QA person work for? The builder. Who's the county work for? The county. Who's working for you? Right? But yeah, speaking of needing an agent and how important that is, one, I agree, new construction, you should have an agent. Because what happens is you call me to do the inspection, you don't have an agent, and then you start asking me all the questions on what to do next. And I'm just like, well, if only you had an agent. If only there was a job where a person could do, and I can't wait till they create one.
Right.
But also, I ran into the situation. Well, I didn't run into it. I was informed of the situation. Agent that uses us was on the listing side, and the buyer was unrepresented. And so she was at the home inspection to let the home inspector in and all that stuff, which is a whole other story. But the repair request came in. I'm pretty sure they probably used ChatGPT for the repair requests. Asking for all kinds of things that they can't ask for.
Oh, yeah.
So I told that agent, I said, maybe you should just go ahead and refer them back to their contract and explain to them that a realtor would have been helpful. So, because you work on the best interest of the seller, not them. Right. So a whole lot of no's all the way around.
I wonder with ChatGPT, so there's the definition in our contract that says a defect is and explains what a defect is. And then it says a defect is not, and it gives a couple of examples of what a defect is not. So I wonder if you copy and pasted that definition in with the list of stuff that they asked for, if ChatGPT could spit out, hey, here's what falls under the does not, and here's what falls under the does. I wonder if it'd be smart enough to parse through things and pick up on the nuance.
I bet you it will for certain things.
Yeah.
Yeah.
That could be a fun little exercise.
And it would be one of those, the more you did it, the more it's able to do it.
But you have to be careful as the listing agent, because you can't, if you respond to the addendum directly, then that's considered a counter.
Right.
Technically, you're supposed to go back. So normally you would have a buyer agent, right? You go back to the buyer agent and say, hey, you've asked for things outside of the contract.
Yeah.
Instead of formally responding to it, you ask them to update it.
Yeah.
Like the seller doesn't want to respond to this. Yeah. You're outside of the realms of the contract. I wouldn't necessarily say default, but they're kind of on the edge.
Yeah. Yeah. This one, they were asking for the seller to go get a roofer to inspect the roof, the entire roof, because the inspector wrote up a popped shingle, which wasn't popped, but that's a different story. I just sent it to 2 roofers because, like, the list agent's like, I don't want to waste the roofer's time. Like, do you see anything? I'm like, I don't see anything. Neither did the roofers.
Right.
But again, you can't ask for the seller to go get additional inspections. That's a you problem.
Yep.
And then they asked for the chimney to be inspected and fixed in working order, which chimneys are always as is. So as long as you check the box, which they did.
Yep.
So, but yeah, so there's a lot of people that go around now with ChatGPT, because I think I was told somebody in Florida or California sold their house or bought a house and they just used AI and saved so much money and all this other stuff. So everybody's trying to do it. But yeah, there's just a lot of people out there who, and if you have the time and the resources, sure. Mm-hmm. But most people who work full time don't have the time to properly do all the things that's needed to sell their house or buy a house.
And how experienced is someone? Have they bought and sold a ton of homes as investors? Are
Exactly.
they emotionally
You're not going
involved
to do it your
not?
first time. You should be doing it your first time.
Because I will say that, maybe doing it yourself can save money over 50% of the real estate agents out there. But I think that there's a line about that. Like, you are better off doing things alone than hiring a bad person.
100%. 100%.
Most jobs, right?
I've heard,
but if you find and hire the right agent, you don't know what you don't know if you don't do this day in and day out. And also, you don't know if you saved money because you don't know what the potential was.
Sure.
Again, if you don't know the ins and outs and the nuances and how to sharpen up different clauses and everything, like that.
Yeah.
Unless you have a ton of experience. But most investors I know, once they get into buying 8, 9, their 10th home, someone in their posse gets licensed because they're like, oh, we know more now than some of the agents out there. One of us should just get licensed to make this happen. Like, when people really do buy and sell that often, anyway.
No, the article I read, it came out about a year or 2 ago, and it was like pros and cons for doing it on your own. And the lady that wrote it, they had bought and sold several homes, and she says, I did it on my own, did all the things, blah blah blah. She's like, but I had the time to do it. This wasn't my first time doing it. Yes, you can do it on your own, but this is something that you have to have time to do. And you have to understand what you're actually doing. Like, if it's your first time home buyer, don't.
Oh.
Don't
as a first time home buyer. No.
Yeah. I mean, don't do it as a second or third home home buyer. Because, and again, if you're working, it goes back to the whole, at one point, you cut your grass because you cut your grass. And then it's like, you know what? I'm making enough money. I don't have to cut my grass. So, so I pay somebody else to do that. So I don't have to. And that's kind of, I mean, it's not exactly apples to apples, but it's the same concept, though. I don't have the time to dedicate to do all the things I need to do to sell my house and buy another one. Nor do I have the energy to find all those nuances and do the proper research and all the things involved. So I'd rather just pay somebody the commission to do it.
And it does at times feel like, I think there are maybe 10% of our deals in a year, things go so smoothly where we do feel a little overpaid. You know, there's like that 1 or 2 deals where the clients were so amazing.
100%.
The clients were so buttoned up. They did everything we asked for. The other side, everything was amazing. And we get to the end and we're like, whoa, that felt too easy. Yeah. And then we're looking at our paycheck going, yikes. I feel like I got overpaid. But it helps make up for all of the other deals. Yes. And so that there are times where and then the consumer, 50% of them are so grateful because it was so smooth and they're like, that was money well spent. The other 50, so it's like the glass half full versus half empty, right? Yeah. The other 50% are like, that's ridiculous how much you got paid when I feel like there was so little work done. I can go do this. Yeah. And they either do. They get licensed and they realize, oh wait, there's a lot more to this. Or they just complain about it and then they try to sell the home themselves next time. But that's pretty rare though. Usually there's things that go wrong.
I'm running the same thing. You know, you get through a really clean house and you're like, man, I feel like I need to start over. Because I don't know how they're going to feel about spending this much money.
Justify myself. I've got to go find a problem. There's a crack in the sidewalk.
Yeah, let me go kick some ductwork in the crawl space. We don't do that officially. You don't. But yeah, I mean, but you're right. It makes up for one. You hire for the experience, not necessarily the process, right? You know, so because you hire me because of the knowledge that we possess to be able to find things. So just because you don't find 100 things doesn't mean, you know, you didn't spend your money wisely. It just means that you've got lucky and picked a clean house. Yeah. And with the vast knowledge and tools and resources, we didn't find what we normally find. Right. Because there's plenty of houses that if I charged by the defect, I could have been retired about 2 years ago. You know, but it is a thing where people, you get that, well, that just looks easy. Because they'll read our contract like, well, what am I paying for?
Right.
To find stuff.
Yeah.
Yeah, that happened recently. This guy called and was like asking me about the mold and termite because in the agreements it talks about that, like if we miss it and stuff, that we're not like responsible for it. And I was like, I mean, if the guys see it, they're gonna tell you. It's not like we're trying to keep this information from you. Like, right. What? And then he was like, so you guys are just gonna walk around and look at things? Yep. I can do that. And I was like,
you can.
Okay.
But do you know what you're looking at? Because I don't know the difference between a screw and a nail and which one's supposed to be under the deck or not, right? Like, well, I don't know what code is.
I responded
sure, I can walk around.
Well, we're not going to be tearing down any walls.
Right.
We're not going to be tearing down any walls.
Yeah.
They're going to be looking around.
The legalese. There's legalese to everything.
Yeah.
There are things you cannot see. I tell people
that like call and ask us about that. I'm just like, it's just to cover our butts. They're going to find everything they can find, but if they happen to accidentally miss something, this is to cover us.
Yeah.
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 I appreciate that.
Yeah. And most people get it, but yeah, I mean, but we have the same thing. We have people to go like, oh, well, this looks easy. Then they go take the class, and then they show up to do some ride-alongs. Like, oh, so you do more than just check doors and outlets. Like, yeah, you got to know a whole lot of stuff. Like, oh, okay, and we never see them again.
Are you right? You mean I have to walk around on a roof? What?
Yeah. So yeah, there's definitely, and like I said, I mean, there's bad agents, there's bad inspectors, and it's. This is such a niche industry often because a lot of people's like, how do these people stay in business? The problem is there's only so many times you're going to go to Chick-fil-A and get bad service before you stop going to Chick-fil-A because you know what the good service is supposed to look like, right? Not that I've ever experienced bad service at Chick-fil-A. I'm just saying. But when you buy a house, the average is every 5 to 7 years, but right now the average age of a first-time home buyer is mid to late 30s.
I think they said 38.
Yeah, 40, something like that. You have nothing to compare it to, so you don't know if it was good or not. You don't know if this is the standard. You don't know anything about it.
Right.
You know, oh, I got a 40-page report from the home inspector, man. They're really thorough. And then you show up and like, oh, they missed lots, you know. And I've had it with agents, newer agents. And this isn't just to brag on us, but we go and do an inspection and they get a report like, never seen a report like this. Mm-hmm. Who you been using? You know? Right. But it's the same things for realtors. It's such a niche industry that people don't know what it actually is supposed to look like. Mm-hmm. You know? So I think that's it's a blessing in some ways, but it's also a hindrance in others because again, the ones that aren't that great get to hang around because, oh, I got a 5-star review. You're like, oh man, I've worked with that agent before.
Are there a lot of people holding back?
Yeah.
Yeah.
I wouldn't say possible. 5 stars, but okay.
Yeah.
So yeah, it's,
Yeah. So the folks who don't think they need home inspections at all, strongly disagree. The folks who don't think they need real estate agents at all, I think I mostly strongly disagree.
Yeah.
I think there can be exceptions to the rule, and like I said, you might be better off by yourself than hiring someone who's not good. The trick is finding someone who's qualified to do the type of deal, you know, that you're looking to do. And when people do ask me about that, you know, like if they're running something by me, like should they try something on their own? I share that I hire real estate agents when I'm doing something in other areas. So even with, I'm going on 21 years of experience, all in residential. And when I go outside of Central Virginia, I will still hire that agent. I want them for the knowledge that they have for the ins and outs of their contracts, because their contracts are different than our contracts. And
no
for
cost estimates.
What'd you say?
No cost estimates.
Right. Yeah. They don't have to provide those elsewhere. And so the nuances in their contracts. And so what are the agents on the other side expecting? And they get to handle those relationships and conversations and also boots on the ground. I also have them for all the referrals I need for whatever's happening in that area instead of me jumping on the Google or wherever else and trying to, find that stuff by myself. So there are so many reasons. I might micromanage parts of the process because I'm me. And, I might rewrite the listing remarks and whatever else, but I'm going to do that.
Yeah. That's right.
And there's so much more. There's so much expertise that they bring for that local knowledge. And so I will always hire someone.
I hear so many agents complain around here when they get an agent from out of the area coming down, and they're like, "This is such a train wreck." It's so frustrating because the contracts are different, the expectations are different. And then of course I get dragged into it because of the cost estimates. Like, they didn't, because they brought their home inspector down from Fairfax and they don't do cost estimates. Like, can you do this for me? So it's a whole thing. And like the good example is between Richmond, they're close. So a lot of people like, my wife works both areas because we live in New Camp, but Williamsburg and Richmond. But you go further down to Hampton Roads, they do termite and moisture. It's a requirement, versus Richmond is just termite.
Right.
So if you don't know what you're looking for, you can get hemmed up real quick down there. Or when you come up here, it's like, well, where's the moisture report?
Yeah.
We don't do that.
We don't do that. That's
you got to ask for it.
You got however many days.
Yeah. So there's definitely something to be said about, and it's no different than home inspectors. I mean, we'll go wherever, but you go down and want me to inspect a beach house or whatever. I mean, I can figure it out, but we don't have a lot of beach houses around here. We have river houses,
right?
But river houses are a lot like regular houses. They're not up on stilts and everything else around here. So, or you go someplace that's more farmland or whatever, there's definitely crossover on that and making sure you know your area and local people know it better.
Right.
So, yeah. And same like, you get somebody from Fairfax or Virginia Beach to go to Brandermill to do a home inspection.
And then they don't know about the shrink swab.
Yeah. Yep. Same thing. We're familiar with what areas are notoriously have problems, and versus that looks good today. Like, oh no, it doesn't.
Right.
Yeah, they just painted it. That's all.
Yeah.
So
paint over the cracks.
Yeah.
Cool.
So what's your advice to fix all that?
The advice to
get
me that again.
So the biggest thing is that, to a lesser degree, but we still have as inspectors, and I say lesser degree because we're less visible and less known. Realtors have made themselves very well known and seen, but there's a trust issue, right? Which I always find it fascinating when someone calls me and says, "Hey, I don't trust my realtor's recommendation, so I found my own home inspector."
Whoa!
And it's like, cool, appreciate that.
Yikes!
But if you're trusting somebody with $500 million or $500,000 of your money,
yeah,
shouldn't you trust them?
Right.
All the way around? And if you don't,
the way around. Yeah.
I feel like that's a problem.
Right.
And
as an agent, I'd want to uncover that a lot sooner. So I had that problem probably 12, 13, 15 years ago. Mm-hmm. It was still fairly earlier in my career. I had one of those problem, one of the problem clients. Mm-hmm. And I was at an age where I still felt like I needed to overcome everything and overcompensate and keep people happy. And so it was someone who didn't recognize any boundaries and total lack of self-awareness. And but such bizarre things, as in she brought her dog without asking ahead of time, brought her dog into my place of business, right? Like I was in an actual office building, elevators and everything, right? Mm-hmm, so it's like you don't have permission from the place, for there to be dogs inside. And so I was like quickly scrambling to like make that work and kind of accommodated her there. And then she kept bringing the dog on showings. I'm like, you can't do that. You can't bring your dog into other people's homes.
People are wild.
But then she's one of those people so that just gives you an example of how she was thinking. Like she just doesn't care. She's just going to go through life and she's going to do things her way. Yep. And then I'm like scrambling behind her, trying to like keep it from become a bigger problem. But at the end, I was the problem. Right.
How long as you recognize that?
No, this is the one time I shouldn't take responsibility for it.
That's right.
I've been to a lot of therapy because I usually take on way too much responsibility, take all the blame. Everything's my fault. I'm not good enough. And I think I was doing a lot of that during this transaction. And in hindsight, there were so many flags from the very first time we sat down in that buyer consultation that I really should have just not taken.
Right.
I should not have signed her as a client. Yeah. And she was upset at the end, and I was completely worn out by the end, emotionally, physically, everything. There was so much to manage with her. Mm-hmm. And that was the only deal I think I've had where someone said, I don't trust your recommendation. I'm pulling in my own person. And again, they got advice from someone who was like a buddy who was new to the business, that had nowhere near the business that I had. Right. Yeah. No, it turned out to be like an okay person, okay company. Sure. And so it was cool. I got exposure without it being my risk, because it wasn't my recommendation.
100%.
I got to find another great company.
Right.
So that part turned out fine, but such a red flag. And if I'd known what I knew by the end of it, number one, I never should have been in business with them. And number two, would happily release someone back to the marketplace if they're at that point. Yeah. Right. But she didn't share most of those things until the end. Right. And so like once we're already under contract, it's kind of too late. Yeah. But any time from the first meeting to to writing and negotiating and winning a contract. Anytime up to that, we can have that fierce conversation and decide, hey, I can either fix this problem or we should go our own way. Yeah. But it never came up until later. Oh, it was so excruciating. But yeah, that's a definitely a flag. Like,
it happens.
If you don't trust that agent to go with their referrals, because you should be hiring someone who's done enough business to be able to give you good recommendations, right?
Yeah, and I think that's part of the issue is that there's so many. I mean, not to be mean, but there's a lot of starving agents, right? Mm-hmm. Because I mean, how can there not be? You know, Metro Richmond, there's 7,000 agents. Yeah. There's not 7,000 deals, or enough deals to satisfy 7,000 agents on an annual basis, right? Mm-hmm. So then it becomes this image of, well, you're just trying to push the deal through to get a check, right? So you can get paid. And that's the downside. And that's not always the case, or not always the perception, but when you get paid at the time of closing, that's going to be in the back of people's minds, right? Versus I get paid at time of service. And so I don't know if there's like a solid fix for that, because nobody's coming out of pocket $20,000 for a commission until he closes, right? Because that's where all your money is. It's in the house. Right. But going back to the point is, you shouldn't have Uncle Joe do your home inspection. No. I've had people say, "Oh, I have my contractor come out." Contractors don't go into crawl space. Yeah. They don't. They come in, they give you quotes on how to do all the inside stuff. How much the flooring is going to cost, how much the paint, what it's going to be to, knock out this wall. And then, because I've been there on renovations, and they're like, "Oh yeah, well, my contractor didn't say there was anything wrong. Did they go into crawl space?" Actually, they didn't. Right. They never go to crawl space. I don't blame them. I don't want to go to crawl spaces sometimes. And same thing with this. Like, you're embarking on because America, a very nuanced journey that you're spending a lot of money, whether it's $200,000 or $1.5 million, and the America part is that we have, just like the tax code, have really made this a lot of forms and legalese and all the things, right? And I'm gonna do it myself. Cool. Thanks. But it comes back to, I don't trust the industries. Right. Because so-and-so said, or my brother told me this, or my mom said that, or my best friend had a bad experience. And don't ever go into the comments when someone talks about on an article about real estate, because it's just brutal. So for me, it's easy to overcome for the most part. Not always. I mean, we fired some clients because they got their ass on their shoulders, and I said, "Oh, well, I'm not working with you. Find a new. My inspections tomorrow. Don't care. Not a me problem. My guy wants a day off anyway, so it's fine." But but when we start getting those questions of, well, what am I paying you for? I could just send them a report of a really bad house. Yeah. This is what you paid me for. Right. Oh. Usually stops it right there. Right. But for you, I feel like it's a little bit harder to combat some of the negative stereotypes and getting people to realize that, no, I really can't do this on my own.
Yeah, and at the end of the day, I'm also not super worried about converting every single person out there. Sure. And that's the lovely thing about working by referral is there's enough people who are singing our praises, and the public that I'm worried about are each person knows what, like another 150 people or whatever. It's all those little circles, all those little pockets that if someone raises their hand and says they have a need, then I know I've got people in my circle who will say, "Hey, I've got a person you can trust." And at the end of the day, to each their own.
Yeah. And I think going back to what you said earlier is you get to the point where you don't need the business, right? I mean, you want the money, but it's, and when you ask those questions for a new when you're looking for an agent, like how much business do you do? And it's not because, well, I'm new. Well, that doesn't mean you don't know what you're doing, right? But what it tells you is, oh, well, if I've done 3 deals in 5 years, I'm hungry. Because we had some during the post-COVID where the market dipped when the rate shot up. I had agents saying, I really need this to close.
Oh, no.
I really need this inspection to go well. And some of them really flirted with that line. Like, I know what you're saying, but it ain't happening here. Like, the house is what the house is.
Right. We're not going to hide something. That's
so
awful.
Versus an agent you get that referral. You've been doing this long enough. You develop that sphere. And it's like, hey, happy to work with you. You want to go work somebody else, that's cool too.
Right.
Yeah.
My business is not hinging on any one deal or any one closing. Yeah. And that was the big thing. When I started building up my team and hiring agents, that was one of the biggest things I told them is your number one thing is you need to get your financial house in order. Yeah. Financial house in order. Yep. Never like there, are 2 or 3 different things that would get you fired on the spot. And one of them was if I ever overheard them saying something or making decisions based off of their own paychecks. Yeah. So when it comes to inspections and negotiations, when it comes to the closing table, and one of my office managers in the first couple of years I was building the team. So one of the earlier people that helped me really build my systems came over from another industry. And one of the things she had said, the reason she even reached out to me and entertained that conversation of working on my side of the deal is because of how many awful things she saw from real estate agents pushing a closing through when she thought it might have been in the best interest for a client. Yep. And she said 100%, I saw you always go, you as in me, Catherine, go above and beyond, always had the clients first, were willing to halt any closing, to make sure things were right and your clients were protected. I was never worried about my own financial situation because I don't set my life like that. Right. And I live well beneath my means, so it's never a problem. And so that's what I would tell the first couple of buyer agents, showing partners and everyone else, like you have to have your financial house in order. Like I am living off of last year's salary, right? Yeah. Like, so my spending is never like, I'm never having to do sales to continue a lifestyle that's been built, right?
Yeah, that's a good way of looking at it.
There's no pressure on that.
Yeah.
And that it is an awful thing that you see because there's so many agents who have seen HGTV shows or they see the pretty Instagram realtor, and so they think it's all glam and glory and easy, quick money, and it's not. It's a grind. You're still building a business. You still have to, like if you don't, you got to hunt to eat and all of those things. And so when they realize how hard it is, and then how long it can take.
Yes.
When you first get started, you see, like they call it commission breath. Yeah. So they might not be looking out for their clients. Yeah. And so that's where you gotta come in, either you have to be so frugal that it's okay the money's not coming in, or you need to come into this business with some savings.
Sure.
To give yourself the length of a runway that you need. Yeah. And you have people, so, with the disc profile, which we'll go into in our next podcast.
Because we didn't get to this podcast. Right. Courtney, thanks.
The high D's and the high I's are super fast paced, right? So they may get into this business and they might, they may have clients and they might be rocking and rolling in the first couple of months. Yeah. The other profile, with the high S's and high C's, can still be amazing real estate agents. And they may be on a 2-year trajectory, right? Yeah. So they may be hitting break, they might get to break even, in their first year. Sure. And they may get to some level of stability in their second year. And they likely don't really start feeling success until year 3, 4, or 5.
Same. I mean, I don't know how I did it, but got pretty busy pretty quick, but still once you do that, then it was like growth mode, and growth mode is expensive, right? And I didn't start feeling comfortable till probably about year 5, to where I'm like, okay, we're good. Like, oh, slow week in July, whatever, it'll pick back up next week. So it is a grind. It does take a while. But yeah, you're right. People see how easy it is through all these shows, and they see the glamour of I closed $8 million last month in deals on Twitter Face.
Yeah, the agents don't help at all.
No, they don't. Worst enemies.
Closing a house, I just closed. They don't show the grind leading up to it. So we're part of our own problem.
100%.
I say we, but I'm not really part of that. I'm not on social media.
Yeah.
My mom is like fully convinced that I should become a realtor
because it's so easy, right?
No.
Yeah.
I'm like, no, Mom, I'm good. Well, why not?
Has she never had a conversation with you?
Wow. Wow.
This is a people-oriented industry.
Wow.
She's
back
mean.
to bullying again.
Wow. I know. All right, well, we didn't talk about anything we wanted to, but we still had a good conversation.
I like how before I started recording,
points,
I go, okay, do you guys know what you're going to talk about? And Sid was like, yeah, roll the camera. I was like, we're good. We don't even need to have a little discussion beforehand. I was like, okay.
Well, we talked about all the different times and places you should have a home inspector out, not just when you're buying a home. And so many reasons why you should also have a real estate agent because you don't know what you don't know, and you have other people telling you what to do who are not on your side. So I think we covered really important things.
We did for sure. And cutting through some of the stigmas and downfalls of the industries. So
there you go.
And how we got here. So, but next time, we're going to talk about personalities.
Deep dive
into
the disc
profile.